And this is a Fox News alert. Freedom Caucus Chairman Mark Meadows says he is, quote, very optimistic that Republican lawmakers can find common ground on the GOP Obamacare repeal replacement plan by tomorrow. Joining us now to explain exactly what he meant and where this negotiation lies, the chairman himself, Congressman Mark Meadows, North Carolina, along with Virginia Congressman, fellow Freedom Caucus member Dave Bratt. All right, Congressman Meadows, so earlier today I spoke to a number of you guys. You were adamant this is not passing unless two specific things happen. So what has evolved that now the White House feels you're close to a deal? You told me earlier tonight that you are close as long as the language of a deal that you personally made with the president is written properly. You think it's done?
Yeah, I'm really optimistic that we can get there. I mean, there's still a lot of details to work out, Sean, and so to say that we've got a deal, that wouldn't be accurate. But I can tell you that the president has engaged not only personally with the Freedom Caucus, but with a real unbelievable broad spectrum of the GOP conference. And so when we look at that, it's all about him getting personally engaged. But I say you have an agreement in
principle?
You know,
did you guys have a meeting of the minds, agreement in principle?
The president and I came to an agreement in principle. I think what we're trying to do now is to make sure that our agreement is actually something that can be executed in a way that passes the Senate, really gets to a point working with his staff. I can tell you we were on the phone with his staff just a few minutes ago before coming on. And so there's still work to be done, right. But I can tell you that the president is all engaged. I've talked to leadership this evening. I know they were meeting with some of the moderates. We recognize.
How many weeks has it been since you talked to? How many weeks has it been since you talked to leadership?
Well, you know, we've had some meaningful conversations here in the last 12 hours or so, and up to that, I mean, pretty much, you know, before that, there hadn't been a whole lot of discussion in the last couple of weeks, just because it was pretty much this is the bill and this is what we're going to have to do. So I'm seeing real progress, and I'm excited about where we're going tonight with this, and I want to give just a real shout out to the president
himself from. And you're crediting the president himself for this breakthrough, if you will, because if you guys held firm like I was told by you this morning and by others this morning in your caucus, this was not going to pass tomorrow. Unless this is fixed, this won't pass. You're saying that.
Well, that's correct. I mean, we needed substantial changes, and we still have, you know, a large group that's committed to no until they really can review the details and see where we're going with all of this. So we're not there yet, but I can tell you that we're working hard.
Congressman Bratt, where are you on this?
Same place, and hats off to our chairman, Mark Meadows, for just phenomenal job negotiating. He's been on the phone with President Trump daily, multiple times a day, and they're both doing a tremendous job. And just for the folks out there, right, we started from a position that we're going to keep our promise and repeal this bill, right? And then the language said we're going to repeal and then replace. And so I just want to assure the folks out there, when they hear about a deal, that deal has to, at the very minimum now, lower the cost curve, right, for health insurance for the people out there. And so there's a heavy lift out there. We're negotiating that heavy lift, and it will be the real deal. And we're doing this because we want President Trump to be successful. If we don't get the cost curve down, then you're going to end up in death spirals again in a few years, and this time we'll own it. So it's a win-win. We're not trying to hold things up. Yeah.
Because both of you told me, and you were very firm about this, and Congressman Meadows specifically and Dave Bratt specifically, both of you told me that the reason you're fighting for this is for the president's sake, because he can't have his name on a bill, you said, that's going to end up in a bad way. So your motivation was to get it right.
Well, it is. It's really about the American people, Sean, and when we really look at this, it was a commitment from the president to lower insurance premiums, to repeal this, to make sure that those pre-existing conditions are taken care of. And so it's all about making sure that we get it right for the American people. And I can tell you, he's got a board on all the campaign promises that he's made, and he's checking those off, and he's serious about that.
He is. Yeah. All right. So it's an issue of language, an agreement in principle, and we'll watch by tomorrow morning. I guess by this time tomorrow night, we'll know where this vote ends up. And I wish you, seriously, This is an important piece. There's no room for failure in my mind here. This is way too important. And if you guys can come together, that's great for the country. Thank you both for being with us. Appreciate